with the phlegm and everything. All right. It's about 10 minutes long, this story, by the way, so just get comfort. This is the whole set. A long, long time ago, way before the days of kings and queens, of princes and princesses, or of emperors and empresses. Long ago, when all the portals between the realms were open and unguarded. Well, don't know about you, but in those days, I chose to live in the realm called Paradise. Sorry, I put a capo on and I told you to play C.
That's a great expression.
Squeaky sort. So we're in paradise, right? We are, look. Now paradise was the realm where we could choose to be whoever and whatever we wanted. In paradise, we could create our own reality. Whatever we could imagine, we could make it happen. In paradise, I was a dolphin with dragon wings who could soar through the air, swim through the ocean, and roam the land as I pleased. What were you? Who were you? Now, paradise, as you can imagine, or perhaps you can even remember, was full of magic, of mischief, of mystery. It was full of magical creatures like dragons, like unicorns, like fairies. And nothing in paradise was quite as it seemed. Nothing was black and white, boring, or binary. Now, in another realm, one that we know all too well today, things were very, very different. This realm was, and still is, called the Patriarchy. Now, the Patriarchy had a ruler who lived in the sky and looked down upon the creatures of the Patriarchy as his subjects, his submissives, his slaves. He convinced all the creatures who lived under him that only good or bad existed, only right or wrong, only beautiful or ugly. Not only that, but he convinced them all that they were inherently bad, wrong, ugly, and that they must each spend their short lives working as hard as they possibly could to please him, even if it made them utterly miserable, or else their souls would be forever doomed to even worse torture. He even gave them a song to sing, a story to tell themselves and each other, over and over again, so that they couldn't even imagine any other way of being. The song is passed down to this day, you might have heard it. It goes like this. Does it? More like that, more like that. I said there ain't no rest for the wicked. Money don't grow on trees. I got bills to pay, I got mouths to feed. There ain't nothing in this life for free. And I can't hold back, I can't slow down, although I wish I could. 'Cause there ain't no rest for the wicked till we close our eyes for good. Now, the sky god's main advisor was his great big, huge Enormous. Ego. And as we know, the ego is never satisfied. It wasn't enough for him to have control of every creature under the patriarchy. No. He wanted to own the soul of every being of every realm. I mean, he had to, really. Otherwise, he feared, he knew, that soon enough, his subjects, his submissives, his slaves, would realize that they could live a better life elsewhere. And then who would do his bidding? Who would be his entertainment? And what would make him feel powerful? Now, of all the realms that the sky god conquered, paradise proved by far the most difficult, being so heavily protected by magic. And so he sent his most dedicated slaves, his heroes, his saints, to diminish that magic step by step before attempting to take full control. And so, St. George severed the head of the last dragon, and with it severed Paradise's connection to the centre of the earth and all her protection. St. Patrick chased all the snakes out of Paradise, and with it, Paradise lost connection to the great cosmos and all its power. And St. Colin shamed and demonized the fairies, forcing them into hiding and denying the Paradise realm any further connection with the spirit world and the wisdom of the ancestors. Only one magical creature eluded the sky god. The very magical, mystical, mischievous unicorn. This was because of a very famous fact, as you'll all know, only a virgin girl can slay a unicorn. At least it was common knowledge in those days. It might not pass down. Be aware in future. But how powerful could this beast even be, anyway, if it could be slayed by a girl? The foolish sky god thought, not understanding that this very charm that protected the life of the unicorn was a sign of the unicorn's great power. And so he dismissed the idea of unicorn's magic and launched his attack on Paradise. His ego and him plotted to send a great flood to drown the realm, forcing all earthbound creatures to flee to the Patriarchy, or else perish. He chose a man, made in his own image, to transport just two of each creature, one male and one female, from Paradise to the Patriarchy. The man he chose was Noah. You might have heard of him. Now Noah was a sweet man with the best of intentions, but an unfortunate and very deep-seated belief that he, being made in the image of his sky god, was obviously superior to all other beings, especially those of other realms. Thank you very much. And so Noah, according to his sky god's instructions, built a great ark and went with it to Paradise to be their savior. Now Noah's news certainly did have Paradise in a panic. As without the snakes, they had not been able to predict the disaster. Without the dragons, they had no protection against it. And without the fairies, they couldn't even pray to the ancestors for advice. There really was no option but for two of each creature, a male and a female, to board Noah's Ark to the Patriarchy. And so the animals came in two by two. Hurrah! Hurrah! Mr. and Mrs. Squirrel, Mr. and Mrs. Fox, Mr. and Mrs. Hedgehog, and then the very unique unicorn. What the fuck are you? Said Noah. Nose. What's with the horn? To tell the truth, Noah was a little bit intimidated by the size of unicorn's horn. Unicorn, said Unicorn. Surely you've heard of me. Nope, said Noah, and I'm under strict instructions. You can't come in without a partner. Are you male or female? Maybe we can find you a partner here. I am neither, said Unicorn very proudly. I don't need a partner to reproduce. And in fact, I prefer to do most things on my own terms. Well, that sounds like trouble to me, said Noah. Leafing through the guidebook his sky god had given him, entitled The Bible. There's nothing in here about solo reproduction or genderless animals. You're not welcome on board. Now, of course, all Unicorn's fellows on board the Ark wanted desperately to stick up for them, but felt powerless to do so, lest they themselves be cast overboard and so easily replaced by another of their kind. But everyone, including Unicorn, knew that if they didn't somehow make it to the Patriarchy, then all beings in all realms would be forever without magic in their lives, and would be truly, truly doomed. And so, and so Unicorn decided that they would swim alongside the Ark. Oh, they swam, and they swam, and they swam. They swam through whipping whirlpools, through raging rapids, and through savage storms. They swam through the stuff already. They swam over reefs and rocks and cavernous depths. And they swam through deserted sea palaces, ancient ocean tunnels, and eventually, finally, they reached the gateway to the patriarchal realm. Then, as Unicorn swam through the gateway, a great boulder rolled onto Unicorn's tail, squashing their tail, flat and wide like that of a seal. Not to mention, all that swimming had worn away their legs, leaving only two flipper-like fins where the front ones had been. On their horn had twisted into a great and beautiful spiral shape from the force of those whipping whirlpools. Does anybody recognize the description of the creature above? Yeah? A narwhal! So Unicorn was renamed Narwhal. And do you know that Narwhal still roams our oceans, selflessly spreading magic, mystery, and mischief, and reminding all of us who live under the patriarchy that not everything is black and white, binary, or boring.